and the whole gang for putting this together. I want to thank all of you for what you're doing every single day to bring attention and focus to the fact that indeed freedom is everything. I know when you sit at home and you watch what's going on in Washington, you get all sorts of emotion, right? Yeah. And you get probably the kind of emotions that the American people do as they sit there and they watch and they get this one overwhelming sense of, what the heck is going on? Right? The challenges that we face as a nation are huge and incredible. And the reason that you're mad and that I'm mad and you're angry and I'm angry and the American people are angry is because we don't see that the solutions that are being offered by the folks in charge right now bear any resemblance to American solutions. And so, yes, Mr. President, Madam Speaker, we will fight for American principles. I want to share with you a few words about the whole issue of health care. As many of you know, I'm a physician. Before I went to Congress in 2004, I practiced orthopedic surgery for over 20 years, and so this battle of health care has been something very, very personal. Because I believe what they have stolen is the trust between patients and physicians. I believe what they have stolen is the thing that allows us to have the greatest health care in the world, and that is the ability of true free people. True free people to make free and independent decisions. So when you think about why we are so irritated and angry and mad about what's going on in Washington in the area of health care, you think about your health care principles, because it all comes down to principles in everything. And whether it's the affordability of the system or the accessibility of the system or the quality or responsiveness or innovation or choices, whatever principles you have as they relate to health care, none of them are improved by the further intervention of the federal government. Not one. So when we sat back and we said, all right, now what do we do? What do we offer as our solutions? There are positive solutions. That's what's so frustrating. There are positive solutions to all of the challenges that we face that embrace those fundamental American principles. And I was privileged to chair the Republican Study Committee in the House of Representatives. How many of you know what the Republican Study? You ever heard of it? Not many. We are the group of House conservatives, 117 strong in the House of Representatives, the largest caucus in the House of Representatives. And when I charged and challenged our folks with doing 15 months ago, is to come up with those positive solutions to all of the challenges that we face, but they had to do one thing: they had to embrace fundamental American principles. So when you look at health care, we say we've got to have a system that respects all of those principles. And how do you do that? Well, you get folks insured by making it so that it's feasibly financial and attractive and foolish for them to be insured and selecting the insurance that they want for themselves, not that the government wants for them. Right? And you solve the insurance challenges, affordability and pre-existing that Jonathan just mentioned, by making it so that individuals are able to own and control their insurance. They take it with them if they lose their job or they change their job. Or we make it so that individuals have access to a market for pre-existing illnesses and injuries that makes it so that it's affordable for every single American. And we say with absolute certainty that the decision-making process in healthcare needs to be between patients and families and doctors, and that's it. As you well know, you cannot be serious about health reform if you're not serious about lawsuit abuse reform. And that's the bill that we put together, H.R. 3400. Many of you know about it. It's a positive solution to the challenges in healthcare. Now, their bill has all sorts of bad stuff. 2,700 pages of mostly government encroachment into your lives. And it's wrong. And it's wrong. And what we believe we ought to be doing now, we have plotted forward a strategy on health care that includes 4 specific things in the near term. First is to make certain that we provide to the American people the knowledge about the detrimental consequential effects of this bill on a daily basis. We call it Obamacare bad medicine. You can go to our website, Republican Study Committee, or Google Republican Study Committee, and find Obamacare bad medicine. Sign up for our alerts. We're going to come forward with at least one every single day. And you've already heard about them. You've heard about Caterpillar, $100 billion in new costs. John Deere, $150 million in new costs. AT&T today, the paper you saw, $1 billion in new costs because of this bill. And you may say, well, what difference does that make? It makes a huge difference because every dollar that those businesses have to send to the federal government is a dollar that they can't use to hire people, that they can't use to create jobs, that they can't use for innovation, that they can't use for the private sector. Every dollar that goes to the public sector steals a dollar from the private sector across this land, and that's wrong. Secondly, we believe that we ought to be encouraging and empowering those individuals who will bring forth constitutional challenges to this bill, because I believe in so many ways the Obama health care bill is unconstitutional and individuals who will bring forth those suits, whether it's the individual mandate. Did you ever believe you would live in a nation where the federal government was going to tell every single American that you must purchase this service and this product, and we will tell you what it must be, and if you don't, we will penalize you under penalty of law through the Internal Revenue Service. Ladies and gentlemen, I never believed I would see it, and I will tell you that that is very, very dangerous and chilling. Very dangerous and chilling. Third, you've heard about repeal and replace. We've got a little new, I've turned it around a little bit. We want to replace the individuals that voted for it, repeal the bill, and reform the system. Because of November 2008. Elections have consequences. Every single thing that we will do between now and November 2010, I commit to you, I promise to you, will be so that when we're back here in March of 2011, we will be talking about the wonderful uplifting principles of individual liberty, smaller government, lower taxes, and moving in that direction. People say, what are you going to do? Where are your ideas? Where are your solutions? I want to close with 10 specific solutions and ideas that we have for America that I encourage you to share with your friends and your neighbors and your colleagues to turn our country around and embrace those fundamental American principles. First, we will never apologize for America. Second, the narrative that is currently being written from an economic standpoint, that we're where we are right now because of a failure of deregulation and free market capitalism, is wrong. And we must change that narrative. We are where we are right now because the federal government distorted the free market and didn't provide for appropriate and nimble regulation in the economic sphere. Third, spending a deficit. It is time to starve the beast. and our grandkids of their future. It is time to stand up and say, we will no longer support continuing and increasing size of government. Fourth, we need fundamental changes, whether it's in the area of the budget, or spending, or Medicare, or Medicaid, or Social Security. We need to fundamentally reform the system. We need fundamental tax reform. I'm a big fair tax guy. That we say that we want. But ladies and gentlemen, you've got to be on alert and be vigilant, because what this crowd is going to come up with is a new national sales tax in addition to an income tax. We will not support a national sales tax unless the income tax goes away forever. Fifth, the American people are bright and industrious folks, and we must stop making promises that we cannot keep. It's time for an adult discussion about the challenges that we face. One of those is number 6. We need fundamental earmark reform. Earmarks are the gateway drug of fiscal responsibility, and we've got to go away with it. Good news that you may not have heard is that the Republican conference in the House of Representatives just 2 weeks ago came out with a unified stand that we would no longer request earmarks as a conference. That's huge, huge progress. 7, you know as I know that there are incredible efficiencies and privatization aspects that ought to take place in the federal government. We've got to do that so that we can indeed decrease the size of government. There's all sorts of stuff written on it and experts that will bring those ideas to the fore. We need to embrace those. 8, this crowd right now reversed the incredible positive changes in welfare reform. We took welfare in the 1990s and made it so that there was a disincentive to be on welfare and an incentive to work. And this crowd right now has flipped that right back on its head. There is now a greater incentive to be on welfare than to work, and that's wrong, and it needs to be changed. 9, the education system in our nation is broken and flawed, and it must be corrected. We have spent 40 years in a national experiment that says that we don't need to teach our kids or grandkids what it means to be an American, and we expect that they get it somehow. That's wrong. We've got to incentivize our educational institutions to teach our kids our history, our founding principles, and make certain that that is part of their undertaking and their absolute leadership. None of this will come about unless huge changes are made across our land and in Washington in November 2010. This is the most important election that any of us have ever seen. I know that with the incredible enthusiasm in this room and the work that all of you have done and the work that I know you will encourage others to do, as I challenge you, commit to yourself every single week between now and the November election, I ask you to recruit at least 5 more individuals for the cause. You know them. They're in your communities, they're in your churches, they're in your synagogues, they're in your place of work. They're old friends that you haven't talked to since college or high school. It is a challenge for each and every one of us to engage, because the price of liberty is eternal vigilance, and we must be vigilant and engage at this time. Remember what Samuel Adams said. It doesn't take a majority to prevail, but an irate and tireless minority, keen on setting brush fires of freedom in the minds of men and women